The other way to look at it is that that little walk back to the boss room after you lost is time to contemplate what you're going to do differently next time. It's a little gift from the game developer. So let's go. So good to see you here. It's the Andy B Show. This is a video game podcast for adult gamers. That's you, that's me, that's somebody you know out there that's still playing games. The last generation that's got a bunch of us that maybe don't play games is already moving on the age bracket. Sorry, Gen X, that's you. Everybody that's millennial and below, we're all playing video games, and we're not going to stop. You're going to see us there in the old folks' home, hanging out, doing the bingo, and then playing some video games. I've been playing video games this week, and maybe you have too. So we should talk about them. For me, I've been playing the hottest game of 2018, which is Hollow Knight. Not Silksong, the old one, the old Hollow Knight. The Hollow Knight that everybody knows and loves. The Hollow Knight that everybody's forgotten about, except when it's time to remember. The Hollow Knight that really set the standard and stage for what a $15 game could be when they sell so many copies that the 3-person team making the game takes 7 years to make the sequel. Because they're like, nothing went wrong. We just want the new game to be right. And we'll get there when we get there. So without channeling their inner 3D realms when it's done phase, they just kind of said, we'll get there. Just everybody hang out. And yeah, a lot of the people that I know and hang out with on threads and other places are trying to finish up Hollow Knight before they start Silksong. Silksong just came out this week, and not everybody's ready. Like, not everybody's fully like gumptioned up and ready to go for Silksong, and that was definitely me. Like, I had started Silksong, as I mentioned in a prior show, when it was free on Xbox, and then I stopped playing on my Xbox for a bit. I unsubscribed to Game Pass, and I bought it on Switch because it was great to travel with, and there's no cross-save. Another game that really needs cross-save, like really needs it, is Hollow Knight, because it's such a long game if you want to find everything. They say on howlongtobeat.com, it says you could be out there fighting for up to 64 hours on average to complete everything. And I think I've probably put in about 30 hours between 1, now 2, now 3 save files. I'm going to finish Hollow Knight on the PlayStation 5. That's where I'm going to end up knocking it out. I've got an orphaned 5 to 10 hour save on the Xbox. I'm orphaning my 10 hour, 11 hour save on Switch because I couldn't take video of it. And I like to document when I find new things and like to take video. And for some reason, there's a little setting on Switch that's like, maybe you don't need to take any video of this. Maybe that's not for you. I don't know why they selected that setting. I don't know why that's like what they chose to do, but game developers can choose that. They could say, we're not going to be letting you take video. And I think it's for, when there's like super spoilers around, right? They have something sensitive. They don't want people just to easily take game video. You can take game video of everything. You can get a capture card, plug it into your game system and take video of it. But they want to make it just a little bit harder for you to take, game video, spoiler sections, if there's major character events or things like that. Or they'll do it for a time period. I haven't heard of anybody doing it for a time period, but, a developer could say, well, all of these scenes you're unable to take video on, except for the people that have bought capture cards and know how to do that stuff, creators, streamers, people like that. But yeah, they just want to make it a little bit harder for you to share. And then they could lift that restriction later. Well, it's been almost 8 years, and Team Cherry has not lifted the restriction of not being able to record on the Switch. Drove me nuts. So I started again on PS5 because I like to document my game playing. I like to share it with folks. I like to talk about it. And when I realized I can only take screenshots, and this game is so like movement, so immersive, there's so much stuff going on, like you really just kind of want to watch it and see it. And I like to share it, that when I realized, man, I can't share anything from this, like I'm not happy. So I said, I'm willing to like speed run up to the point that I already was at so that I can share my journey in the game so that you could see these crazy boss fights that are going on. And for a lot of people that played Hollow Knight, they've already beaten it years ago. So it's not even like a spoiler to them. We don't even need spoiler tags on most of this stuff. But there are a lot of people playing the new Silksong and showing it off and talking about it. But everything about the original Hollow Knight and the new Silksong, what's so unique about it is it's all like hand-drawn art. It's all bespoke. None of this is just rubber stamp environments. They're not, just copying, pasting things to extend the game length artificially. There are some people who think they're extending the game length artificially in the new Silksong, and it's bringing up tough memories of the old Hollow Knight. There are people that think that, but it's not in the game art. They are talking about when you lose to a boss, you have to run back. So the run back from the bench where you last saved to the boss where you are going to die over and over and over again. People are really upset. They're like, I don't understand why you have to do this run back. Maybe there's some really long ones. I haven't seen any that is more than a minute of run back. And look, it's not a Souls-like game. It is kind of like one. It's kind of like one, but it is very difficult. And there is, a payment to be made when you die. You have to go find your little spirit and recapture them, or you lose all the geos you were carrying. And there's a couple of ways you can do it, as it turns out, at least in Hollow Knight. I assume I haven't played Silksong yet, folks. Like, that's the admission here, right? And I'm not going to until I finish Hollow Knight. And I'm having a great time going through Hollow Knight, by the way. It's been really, really wonderful. And sharing it with everybody. And sharing it with folks that are doing it for the first time. They're in the same boat I'm in. They're adult gamers that started this game once, maybe twice, maybe a third time, and just never finished it. And they're like, what if everybody's talking about Silksong? So it's been a lot of fun trying to cram it in and finish it before Silksong came out. I don't think I came close to it. I have filled out a ton of the map, but I've peeked at the full map of Hollow Knight, and I don't know. There's a couple areas left and a bunch of secrets and a bunch of things to unlock. So we'll see. I think the new save I'm on has like 14 hours. And most of that is not doing that backtracking I'm talking about. People are upset about the backtracking. It's really not that bad. As soon as you start to gain traversal abilities, like, how long does it take you to get back to the boss? A couple seconds? A minute? Maybe 2 minutes? Maybe you have to fight somebody on the way? Look, this is a game that is very serious about you having precise timing in your boss fights. There's little windows where you can heal in a boss fight. And if you try and get greedy and hit the boss twice, or heal when you're not supposed to heal, like, you're supposed to learn these patterns. And it is old school in that way. And they said, well, Elden Ring is so much nicer. If you die, you just wake up right outside of the boss window. It's like, okay, I agree. As an adult gamer, I'm not going to fight this too hard. It should respect our time as much as possible. And if there's something difficult that it wants us to do, adding any cruft right at the front of it just makes it more difficult than it needs to be. That's one way to look at it. Another way, and I agree. The other way to look at it is that that little walk back to the boss room after you lost is time to contemplate what you're going to do differently next time. It's a little gift from the game developer. So, there's a little bit of like, how do you really think about it? Is it really a problem? Kind of dependent on your mindset. But there's a lot of people asking, like, is it more difficult? Is Silksong harder? And not just because of the delays. There's been article after article written on this. And so I had to find out. Myself, is it more difficult? So I polled all of you out there on Threads, where you can follow me at andrew.m.b if you'd like. And I said, is Silksong actually harder than Hollow Knight? Or have Silksong players just forgotten 7 years later how hard Hollow Knight actually was? 62% of the folks that voted said Silksong is legitimately harder out of 411 votes. And only 14% said, nah, they all forgot. Hollow Knight was just as hard. So it is overwhelmed. Now, it's also recency bias, because anybody saying Silksong is legitimately harder they're playing it right now. And there's a couple of like hardcore folks. What I can't see in this poll, and the rest of the people that voted just wanted to see the results. They didn't have an opinion one way. But it's overwhelming. It's like 4 or 5 to 1 that Silksong is legitimately harder than Hollow Knight. And so I've seen a great meme going around where they're like, what's the tutorial for Silksong? Hollow Knight. The tutorial is the first game. Yeah, some of these things are just different. So I've been chatting with folks. Thank you for all 411 of you that have voted in that poll so far. As of this recording, it ends soon. Yeah, Silksong is harder. You're already getting, they say in the first couple of hours, enemies that will hit you for 2 hit points or 2 masks worth of damage. Whereas I'm 13 hours into my third save of Hollow Knight, and I just found in the City of Tears some of these enemies that when they hit you, they'll hit you for 2 health bars, 2 health bar segments, 2 masks. And I only have 6 masks, and so you can only take 3 hits, and so that's a lot. Like, it is very unforgiving in that area. And I don't know, like, can you upgrade armor? I haven't seen any armor upgrades. I've upgraded the nail a few times. I found my first pale heart up there in the Crystal Mountain, whatever that's called. It upgraded the nail. So I've upgraded the nail twice, and it turns out you can upgrade like 2 or 3, 4 more times. My youngest daughter keeps asking me, what are you going to be for Halloween, Dad? And I went to Amazon and I put a bunch of stuff in my Amazon cart to be the knight from Hollow Knight. She doesn't know that yet. So we'll see. So if you're out there, you're enjoying Silksong, or if you're like me and you're still trying to finish up the first Hollow Knight, I wouldn't skip it. First of all, I wouldn't skip straight to Silksong because it sounds like it's the tutorial. The first game is the tutorial for the second. And it's all bespoke. Like, all these little characters, they're all so unique. Every one of those little bugs in there has a unique voice grunt lines. They're all goofy and funny in different ways. And there's just something special about it. Like, it is a special game. It will test your patience. Like some of the puzzle games that I've been playing, though, I'm the #1 Picross influencer on Threads. Sometimes you just have to like unfocus your eyes a little bit and go like, let me just settle into it. Let me settle into this boss fight. Let me settle into the idea that I'm going to lose a few times. One of the bosses I just beat, where you unlock the, the monarch wings, the double jump. If you jump during the boss fight, surefire way to lose. Which is funny because then he gives you the double jump at the end. That's what he's hiding behind his little door. Yeah, but you're gonna lose. I kept jumping and jumping, and after a while, I was like, I'm just doing this till I figure it out. I'm not gonna look it up. I don't need a strategy guide. I'm just gonna do it till I figure it out. And at some point, I was like, I can't jump. If I jump, I lose. If I jump, I get hit. There's just the way that the ads come in and start showing up and fighting. And I was like, okay, that's it. No jumping. And I beat him the next time. As soon as I had the revelation, I'm on the walk back to the boss, and I had this revelation. I was like, what if I didn't jump at all? At all. And that was the key. And I felt so smart and accomplished by figuring it out, and then having the discipline to not hit the jump button and just do the dodges. And then someone on Threads told me that this is the easy version of all the bosses, that there's a dream nail that you can unlock, and then you go back to the boss areas and you use the dream nail, and then you get the hard version. It's like, thanks for that. Thanks for letting me know that I'm just figuring it out. But that's the thing about this game, and that's why it's captured so many people's interest and attention, is because it's something that it's like an Elden Ring, it's like a Dark Souls game, it's like a Lies of P. It is a game that you throw yourself against until you find the path forward. And there's no difficulty slider on this one. But to me, it's only in 2D. I don't mind that as much. It doesn't bother me. The difficulty slider in Lies of P was the difference between me trying it and not trying it. Whereas here, not so much. Yeah, speaking of things that I also am like, I might go back and try. I'm wondering, like, should I go back to the God of War game from 2018, I had this revelation. I was talking to my children. I got a couple gamers in the household. I didn't make them play games, by the way. They decided to do it when they wanted to. Actually decided if they didn't play games, it would be totally fine. But they like it. And the 2018 God of War had a trophy in it, like most PlayStation 5 games that are of enough size. It's called the Platinum Trophy. And these trophies that are unlocking are like, they stick with you through your career. If you're a gamer listening to this, you're like, yeah, I know. But it turns out I have some people that listen to this show that haven't played a ton of games. And so every once in a while, I'm going to break it down and explain some stuff. And I hope that can be okay. So you unlock in PlayStation, Xbox has achievements, PlayStation has trophies. Nintendo does not care about this. Steam on PC, they care about this. They have achievements. So you can unlock trophies by doing certain actions in the game. And PlayStation has it set up to where you have like bronze, silver, gold, platinum trophies. There's only one platinum per game. And the platinum is always get all the other trophies. On Xbox, they have 1,000 achievement points per game. There's no platinum trophy, but if you get the 1,000 out of 1,000 points, that's the same thing, except they've missed a chance to rebrand that into like a cosmic achievement or something. Like they should go back on every one of their games and do this. I don't know why they're not doing it, because it is I haven't been like achievement hunting in a long time. Like it's been years and years. And because as an adult gamer, like who's got time to like beat every nook and cranny of every game? There's different games that are coming up that are taking your attention. But the trophies that are the platinum trophies, they get shown off to you in the dashboard of the PlayStation. Every time you put them up, there's you can customize this, but there's a little trophy area by default where it's like, here's how many bronze, silver, gold, platinum trophies you have. So I could always see that I have 1, 2, 3 platinum trophies. One of them is the Spider-Man game, the new Spider-Man that was on PS4. Got that one. One of them is I can't remember, which is like, that's bad. Kind of want to know what it is now. And the other one's Astrobot. What's that third one? Anyway, we played the heck out of Astrobot. Pretty easy one in Astrobot. Spider-Man, not easy, just takes, not hard, just takes time. You'll get there eventually if you like the game. There's some challenging ones in there, but it's not brutal, you know. And then God of War, I was like, God of War is going to be my 4th. I'm going to do it. And I ended up fighting all of the final harpies or whatever, like the bad ladies were. And when I killed the last one, the trophy never popped. And I was like, am I bugged? Is the trophy bugged? And if you ever like tried to get a platinum trophy or 1,000 out of 1,000 or just a specific achievement and it doesn't pop, sometimes they're bugged. Like the game doesn't recognize that it should pop the trophy or pop the achievement. And so I went searching. This is years ago now. This is during the pandemic. And I was searching. I was like, where's the guide? Has anybody else encountered this? And there were other people that had encountered it. And I don't know why. I was going over the trophy list with my youngest little bee the other day, and she was like, "Why? Well, like, why do you only have 3 platinum trophies?" And I was like, "To get off my back, kid. Like, come on. How many platinum trophies do you have?" But it was fun, kind of going through which ones they were and how close I was to some. So we were kind of going through the trophy list, talking about it. And I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I never finished this, and I was really close to getting this God of War one." And she's like, "Well, what's left?" And I went and looked at the trophies that were left. And I had this one, only like 3 left. I was like, wait a minute. Where's the one about all the harpies? I didn't see it. So I flipped it from non-earned to earned, and it was there. And I was like, did I just miss the trophy pop? Can I go back and finish this platinum trophy in 2018's God of War? Maybe it's not bugged. So maybe after Hollow Knight, I'm going to re-download 2018's God of War, go get all of Odin's ravens, I think I need to get all the treasure spots, and I need to unlock all the armor and like the Niflheim runs. I think that was it. So like good podcast things to do, right? At that point, it's a great podcast game because all the plot is done. All the stories have been told. You're going to walk around and just grunt as Kratos, and occasionally Atreyu is going to, call out a bird or something like that. Because the game's basically done. That's it. So put a little podcast on my shoulder probably, and I might go back and finish that one at some point. Looking forward to it. Yeah. there was one other game before we get into like news, and I've got a couple of gaming stories I want to cover with you today. There was one other game that I saw that I don't know. I guess it was coming out on consoles for the first time, and it's called Void Crew. And I didn't know what Void Crew was, but it's I've kind of been paying attention lately to any of these games by Focus Entertainment, right? Because they've done such a big. I don't know. We're going to talk about them later in the show, where they've just continued to make games that are not for everyone. They're for someone. This is the publisher that's made Space Marine 2, which has just hit its 1-year anniversary, and that is making these like road construction games that are like really like they're just making games that are a little bit different and taking some risks. And it's like, so when they put something out as a publisher, I know the developers that publish under them, they're not all the same or whatever, but when they make an announcement, I'm paying attention now because I'm like, wait a minute, is this the next game that maybe isn't a huge AAA God of War, Call of Duty, but maybe is the next Helldivers, maybe is the next Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, neither of which were Focus Entertainment games, but they're making that kind of game where it's just a little bit different. So I went to check this one out. They said, hey, it just came out on console. I watched the trailer, and it looks like it is a roguelite, but it's a co-op. And I asked them, and they didn't respond yet. So if you have played this game, let me know. My question was, do you have to play it in co-op? Like, it's not obvious whether or not like you could get around it without co-op, or whether it's like that's the only way it's going to work. Because I'll tell you that at Helldivers 2, you need a squad. You need a team, and maybe that's true for Void Crew. So if you're a Void Crew person and you've heard about that, leave a comment. Let me know. I'd like to hear about it. But speaking of Helldivers, I did have one more game I played last night. We played some Helldivers. The crew got back together, so I put a battle log out there on Threads, where you can follow me at andrew.m.p. If you'd like. Almost 200 people there do. And I took a bunch of video clips from the play session last night with me and my two other crewmates, and I included our voices in there. So if you want to hear some of the real chatter, some of the in the bunker stuff that's going on, and hear my voice in a video game, you're welcome to check it out. Just look at my profile and search for battle log. But, one of the things that we talked about last week with in the episode 15, Helldivers Helping Helldivers, is we said, like, they have all these new, like, dive down into the ground, underground bug nests that you have to go clear out. We played for a couple hours last night and never came across one of those missions. Now, I wasn't the commander. I wasn't selecting missions, so maybe that was it. Maybe I would have seen one, but I was waiting to go underground. And we did a whole play session. We did like 5 or 6 missions, and it was like we never found one. Never came across. I don't know if it's only at a certain difficulty level. I don't know, but we did find the truck. I spent the requisition slips and bought what is basically the Helldivers Warthog, where you can carry around like 4 or 5 people. I guess there's only 4-player co-op though, but I think there's seats for 5, and they've got a turret on the back. And that game has a full like Prindle shifter, like park, reverse, neutral, drive, and low. And you have to shift the gears in it. So if I found a setting to make it easy to where if you hit brake from a stop, it will back you up. But when I first started playing in this car, it was like, man, I had a hard time because like I actually have to click reverse. This does not operate like a Halo Warthog. But that thing is fun, and it's hilarious, and you can cover a lot of map ground with it. So if you play on one of these real big open maps, like y'all can hoof it around. So is it worth a stratagem slot? Because you kind of have to make a call, right? Like whether you're going to take that thing or not. It was worth it for us as a group. And at some point, there was like a network error. I think one of my buddies has like a like a NAT problem. We had to have someone else host after that, but it disconnected us and I was left alone. I was like alone to like extract all on my own, which was terrifying. But I just hopped in the Jeep basically and went straight to the extract zone. It worked out great. But man, I got to tell you, if you've got a crew, maybe it's Void Crew, maybe it's Helldivers too. If you've got a crew and you can get together and put some time into this game, it is a lot of fun. And a lot of you have put in a ton of comments. We'll get to it in the community spotlight section later in the show. You had a ton of feedback. I think it was my most popular video and short video and podcast so far, with the Helldivers community kind of coming together. Tell me what they think about Into the Unjust, some strategies. So we'll talk about that in the community spotlight. We'll read some comments up and see what everybody's thinking about it. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. You can follow me. You can get more involved. You can be a part of the show by going to patreon.com/The Andy B Show, TheAndyBee show. And the patreon.com, there's a couple new things that are going up there here this week. There's a brand new look, by the way. They've kind of launched a new look for the show page. So it's fancy. It's pretty out there if you're looking for it. This week we did launch the new early access podcast episode. That's for paid members of the podcast or of the Patreon. So that's the second episode that launched last week. Maybe it was the week before. Anyway, we have 2 up now. And the Gaming 411 newsletter, this is weekly and free. You can go get the Gaming 411 newsletter. Just look for the links in the show notes if you're not already subscribed. And this week, this comes out on Saturday mornings. I write it myself, no AI. I write it by hand. We talked about Hollow Knight, of course, but also 007, which we'll get to in a little bit. Ubisoft's release schedule for the next couple of years. And I kind of had like a little show update, like how I 10x'd my podcast clip views in Gaming 411 newsletter number 7. So if you want to get that, you could just go to patreon.com/The Andy B Show and get all of that stuff right there. So what are we going to do right now? Right now, we're going to take a little break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a couple of quick news updates. We got a couple of gaming stories that I want to cover. And then, of course, Community Spotlight. See you soon. And we are back. So glad you're here. Let's do some quick news updates. These were just short little things that came across the week, across the desk, if you will, that I'd like to share with you. One of them is, 2 of them are about Battlefield 6. So Battlefield 6 is coming out about a month from now. I think I decided I am going to buy it. I don't know if I'm buying the big $100 version, but I think there's enough going on with it that I kind of want to know, I kind of want to get in there. So I think I'm going to pick it up. Comes up around the birthday. There's a couple of like birthday area games for me. Battlefield 6 is close. I think it's like the week before, on the day of Ball Pit comes out. The little roguelite like ball breaking game on the Switch. I'm gonna check that one out. But yeah, there was some footage that came out, and I didn't watch it because I am just a rule follower. I'm definitely married to a rule follower. She likes to follow the rules. Mrs. B. But yeah, I didn't watch the footage because I kind of just show it to me when it's time. But I guess there's a battle royale for game mode for Battlefield 6, and people have joined it, and they are in like an NDA, setup where they're not allowed to say anything, to show it, to even talk about it. But this article here from IGN.com. Titled Battlefield 6's Battle Royale footage has leaked, and here's what it shows us. A 9-minute slice of Battlefield 6 Battle Royale mode is leaked online by Vicky Blake. It says, despite presumably signing NDAs, participants in Battlefield's closed beta environment, Battlefield Labs, are continuing to share snippets of their experiments. Particular video from Misako Mikado 01 gave us a good look at what to expect from the mode and reveals a couple of gameplay mechanics we didn't know about. Players can swim, go underwater, shoot from underwater. Reveals the ladder gadget, which has 2 modes, a ramp and a ladder, and a massive map. We'll find out when we get there. But if they don't have a battle royale mode, like we said last week, and they do expect to do a yearly update to the game, then they can't call it a platform. There's no way that EA is going to get a Battlefield out every year. I don't believe it. I don't think they can do it. And as I said last week, if they can, pause a year, give me Titanfall 3, then go back to Battlefield 6. Thank you. I don't think they can do it. But what they can do is they could maybe do one every 2 years or every 3 years instead of every 5. And if they make a battle royale mode that will continue to evolve, that can be the platform where you can buy skins and upgrades and updates and, guns, packs and all that stuff, and then make it last longer, make it feel like it's part of a platform that your purchases carry forward long enough for you to actually care about and make them. I made a purchase last night. I spent a couple of dollars on super credits in Helldivers 2 so that I could afford an upgrade to that Halo pack. I was tired of waiting. I was tired of getting 20 and 30 super credits a pop. And I think that game's going to be around for a long time. They're updating it constantly. So I feel confident that I'll be able to use that Halo rifle that I unlocked last night. It is pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Yeah. A couple other quick hits in the news. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds demo is coming out soon, according to the official Sonic website, and brought to us by Hazador Gaming, who you should absolutely follow on Threads. Hazador Gaming 9 or Gamin 9? Hazador Gaming. But sure enough, there it is. Sonic Racing Cross, as if we didn't already have enough racing between Mario Kart, Kirby Air Riders soon enough, which is basically Mario Kart with a little bit of combat. But this one looks pretty good. They got a lot of stuff going on in Sonic Racing Cross World. So if you're into kart racers, you don't have to wait long, mid-September, to get more info on when the demo is coming. We're just all waiting with bated breath. Sega, please take us out of our misery and give us this demo. There's also more Game Pass games that are coming out. So if you are a Game Pass subscriber, I like to try and cover these for you just as a service to you. Silksong is on Game Pass. Can't beat that. Roadcraft, is that one of the ones that's from Focus Interactive I'm talking about, where you're making roads and stuff? I Am Your Beast is I haven't played this one yet. This is you're a spy that's trying to stay out of it. You're a John Wick character that's keeps getting drawn back in. And it's it kind of reminds me, the gameplay footage I've seen kind of looks like Super Hot a little bit. Cataclysmo, don't know what that is. Is it chickens? Looks like there's some chickens involved. Paw Patrol World. People are going to poop on the Paw Patrol stuff. They're going to be like, that's not a hardcore. Kids love it. My kids love the Paw Patrol games. They're pretty straightforward, but they like collecting stuff. It's fun and it's not too hard. They enjoy it. My youngest has really gotten into the, it might be on Game Pass, but it's definitely on the latest PlayStation Plus Extra. It's the Bluey video game. She played the heck out of that thing. She's like, I'm going to get the platinum trophy in that one, Dad. That's going to be the one. I'm going to get it in Bluey. And then I think this is XO or NO 9 Souls. That one looks like one of those tough as nails search action games like Hollow Knight. Maybe a little different. There's a new Warhammer game coming out. Had no idea. Called Okay, first of all, they're always making a new Warhammer game. So let's start there. It actually isn't news for me to look at you and say there's a new Warhammer game coming. It's not news. It's a little bit of news. This is Warhammer 40K Mechanicus 2, turn-based tactical sequel. 2 factions, 2 campaigns. If you're into Warhammer and turn-based gaming, you probably already know about this. You probably have it pre-ordered. I don't know. It looks cool. I don't know. It's another Warhammer game. You're welcome, everybody that likes Warhammer. And if you're into video games and you have a PlayStation, you might be into this huge list of PlayStation video games that are coming out in September. Not all of them are huge, but some of them are big enough to where I'm going to call out a couple of them. This is a big list that the official PlayStation account put out a couple days ago. Out now, Metal Eden. I've heard good things about Metal Eden, or interesting things. It's like a hardcore action game. Hollow Knight Silksong, people are talking about that. That's already out by the time you hear this. Next week, it's Borderlands 4. Maybe over the holidays. Maybe I'll wait for a sale on that one. It's too much going on. Lego Voyagers looked okay, but I think most people are probably waiting for that Lego Batman game. Another Frostpunk game. That must be Frostpunk 2, which has been out on PC, coming out to console. The Frostpunk game is wild. If you haven't played Frostpunk, like, it's a turn-based strategy game where you're like managing how much heat your town has in a permafrost planet winter, like nuclear winter, like everything's frozen solid and you're just trying to keep everybody alive and there's no good choices. It's very depressing. Some people are looking forward to Baby Steps. Baby Steps is kind of like a co-op style game where you like just barely have control over this weird baby looking adult that is crawling through the world. We talked about Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and then kind of at the end of the month, Final Fantasy Tactics. And if you're really into sports like FC26 or NBA 2K26, then I mean, we could still be friends, but it's been a while since I've cared about sports games on consoles. It's been a while. Doesn't mean I would never play one. Every once in a while I'll pick up Madden, you know. Hot Shots Golf, though, that's really where it's at. This keeps coming up. This next article here from GamesRadar.com. There's an interview with the game director of Dragon's Dogma 2, which kind of got panned as a game a little bit. Like, they were like, oh, this looks amazing, and everybody loved the first Dragon's Dogma. And by everybody, we mean people who were into having a very specific type of RPG play. And they made another one for people that are really into it. But it's a little bit weirder of a game. Like, not everybody is going to have a great time with it. And I can't tell where the line is. Like, not everybody's going to have a great time with it. And it is purpose-built for a certain audience. Some games you're just not going to have a good time with it because they're not good games. Which is what I felt about Dragon's Dogma 2. But maybe that's not the case. So they're taking on the mantle. This is the game director taking on the mantle of the Warhammer 40K developers and Arrowhead, who makes Helldivers, going like, if you're not in our target audience and you don't like the game, that's no problem. Doesn't bother me, which is a good attitude to have. But I still, again, I wonder, I'm like, is that really like what happened here? Or was the game just not that good? Here's the quote. It's normal if some people outside that target audience don't like the game. That's probably the right way to feel. Itsuno says, they say, if it sells at this level, like whatever the level target is, it's all good. Meaning if the game was loved by so many, it's all good. I made the game not like a Nintendo one to be liked by all the people, but for a certain type of audience. So it's normal if some people outside the target audience don't like the game. However, people who enjoyed the game really loved it, appreciate the details and work, and very proud of it. Of course, if your sales are enough and it's working for you, and your publisher's happy and your developers are getting paid and the game made money, not every one of them needs to be the biggest hit. But it seems like that is not the way some of these big publishers mean to do business. And so it's refreshing to hear, if true. I wonder, given Dragon's Dogma 2 came out a year or two, I wonder if they're kind of like putting some reverse spin on it, little rose-colored glasses, But if it did sell well and they're happy, great. Like, we want a healthy games industry. We want more games of different types. The article goes on to say, Dragon's Dogma 2 is very much its own beast, but you could see some of the same spirit in the mission statements of Helldivers 2, developer Arrowhead Game Studios. A game for everyone is a game for no one. And the CEO at the top of the Space Marine 2 publishing chain, that's Focus Entertainment. The core of our manifesto is we do not design and produce games for everyone. So again, I think they're kind of looking back and saying like, oh yeah, us too. That's us. our game didn't sell as well and it was kind of quirky and people panned it for mechanics being a little bit too esoteric. That's us. Same zone. Yeah, maybe. But I do think it's the right game design thing to take. Hollow Knight is that way. I do want some games for everyone. I want some games or for a wide audience or for easy access or for to have accessibility. I want people that maybe have a hard time playing the game. You know, we're adult gamers and we're not getting any younger. Time goes this away, right? And it didn't go back the other way. So I do, you know, at some point, these skills, they're going to deteriorate, right? My ability to play at a certain level is going to go down. That's what they tell me. I don't believe it, but that's what they tell me. So at some point, I won't be able to play the same type of games. I'll need some accessibility. I'll need some, you know, some ability to access the certain games and experiences without being able to do it at the same level. And it's so important for folks that that have access issues and disability issues, as well as not just aging out of it, which is what I'm kind of joking about a little bit. But like people really do, you know, there's some people that want to play video games. They only got one hand, you know, and they need specialized controllers, and Microsoft makes them, PlayStation makes them. There's open source ones, open models out there for folks that don't have all the same fingers and thumbs and cognitive abilities in the same way, but they want to enjoy the games. So more games accessible by more people. It's kind of on this one end of the spectrum. To like, we don't design our games for everyone. How do they meet? You know, because I think if you had somebody that was like a really into Hollow Knight, they really wanted to play it, but they just had some physical challenges to being able to do it, they're kind of stuck, you know? It's too hard. There's not a way for them to play that game. They can watch some Let's Plays of it. They can watch people stream it, you know, so they can get the sound and the visuals of the game, but they're not really going to be able to play the game. So that's tough. And then the other side of it is if the game sells just enough, like Dragon's Dogma 2 apparently, but gets panned for its, you know, choices, do they just take on the same mantle? It's interesting. Yeah. Couple other gaming stories here. Then we'll get to community spotlight. Ubisoft. This comes to us from Digital Animine, I think, and I did not validate. I did not check whether this story is legit. So I just like talking about it. So maybe this is rumor mill. I should check it out. They said Ubisoft plans to release 10 games between 2026 and 2027. I assume this came from like an earnings call. I don't know where. They want an unannounced Animal Crossing-like game. Okay. Assassin's Creed Hex we've heard about. This list has Beyond Good and Evil 2, which if you know about that game, then you start to go, is this a real list? But you know what? I bet they do plan to release it. They've been planning to release it 2 years from now for the past 10 years or 20. So I think they plan on releasing in the next 2 years. I just don't think we're going to see it. Somebody's got the doubt GIF on the thread I'm reading from. Doubt. I doubt it. Far Cry 7, totally believe it. New Ghost Recon, absolutely. Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time remake. I would play that. The original Prince of Persia Sands of Time for GameCube, PS2, and Xbox was a stunning video game. Rayman remake. The Rayman game's great. Sure. This is the one that made some people happy. A Splinter Cell remake. It's been a while since we've seen anything but like a cameo from Mr. Sam Fisher. So it'd be really good to see him in his own video game again. Be kind of neat. Yeah. Other gaming news this week. If you were on the internet this week, you might have seen an option to watch a 35-minute version of 007 First Light. I watched 10 minutes of the 35-minute version, 6 of which were them driving slowly into a car, having little British quips back at each other, and then not really doing anything. It was probably a great intro to the game to play, but to watch, I was like, where's the 3-minute trailer at, folks? So I found the 3-minute trailer. You should watch the 3-minute trailer. High action. This new 007 game comes out next year. They announced a $300 collector's edition, which comes with the golden gun from the N64 game. And it's made by IO Interactive, who famously have made years, decades really, of the Hitman games. And you can see a little bit of it in the gameplay video, because in Hitman, you sneak into locations, you figure out routines of people moving around while you're going after your target, your mark, the person you're supposed to hit. Um, and this game looks good. Like this new one, the 007, the Hitman games look good too. But this one looks good. Like it's definitely very cinematic. You feel like you're, watching the movie or in the movie. They have the cars and the gadgets and everything you'd expect. And it's all about starting over. It's like, how did 007 get going? And who doesn't love a good origin story? And if they're going to make 10, 20 years of this game with this character that they're putting in, they need to start it over, probably. It's been a while since we don't get a lot of movie tie-in video games anymore, that's for sure. And we haven't gotten a lot of good Bond video games in a long time either. And this looks like both. It's like a movie franchise tie-in because we're in between Bonds. In the year 2025, when you're listening to this, we're in between James Bonds. We don't know who the new one's going to be. But in the game, it's still a white British guy. There's a lot of people wanted like Idris Elba to be Bond, but he's like, I'm too old. And they're like, well, it's okay. We'll clean it up digitally, man. But if you remember when the newest Bond came out, most recently in Casino Royale, they had him so physical, doing so many like highly physical things. They never had Pierce Brosnan do. And it's like, you need a young person probably to do all these stunts and make it look realistic. But this game looks real good. Based on the quick 3-minute trailer, I recommend that version. Don't watch do watch the 35-minute version if that's what you want to do. Don't let me tell you you do what you want to do. I'm just telling you what I did as an adult gamer. I tried to watch the 35-minute version and could not. Just couldn't do it. And there's been so much fun discussion about, yes, movie tie-in video games, yes, 007, yes, Hitman. What's this game really going to feel like? And I want it to be good, but how often do you get big licensed video games nowadays? Like, it's interesting. I'm definitely going to pay attention to it. Probably buy it. I don't, based on what I know, probably buy it. I assume there's going to be multiplayer in it because they're talking about the Golden Gun from the N64. But the N64 version of 007 was very popular because you could buy an N64 for $200 if you could find one. And people my age were going to college at the time that had an N64, brought it to college, played Smash Bros, played a lot of that, Mario Kart, played a lot of that. And they would play the only shooter that was available to them at a low cost, and that was 007. It was like the best shooter available on the N64. It was a bad game. Sorry. Like, that was not a great game to play if you had anything to compare it to. And I did, because my friend group at the time was playing Counter-Strike on PCs, and you had to pay a lot more money to build and buy a PC, or you could be like me and go into debt for it at the time. But if you had a built and bought PC and you were playing Counter-Strike, like, there was very little outside of the plug-and-play portability of 007 to recommend it to anybody. The graphics were terrible, the frame rate was terrible, the controls were bad. That N64 controller was terrible for that kind of game. And I just don't have any nostalgia for the N64 007. Like, outside of the pause menu music, throw the whole thing out. Like, it's fine. Glad you had a good time with it if that's you, but it just never hit for me. I was busy arming a bomb and defusing bombs each round and, playing on Dust 2 and Counter-Strike. That's what I was doing with my college age gaming. Yeah. One of the fun things about not caring about spoilers, and we don't care about spoilers very much in this show, I will never intentionally spoil the heck out of you. That's just not how I roll. I'm not going to do that on any game. I'm not going to be like, here's the ending of Superman. Like, we're not going to do that here. Because I know some people care very much, but we train ourselves here because we can't control everybody else's behavior, only our reaction to it. So we train ourselves to not worry about spoilers with a mantra. Someone taught me this. I'm teaching you. I can't wait to see how that happens. And when you have the mantra of, I can't wait to see how that happens, you train yourself over time when you hear a spoiler and you repeat the mantra to not worry about it. It doesn't bother you. And that means that when a new Silksong game comes out and you haven't beaten the original game, you could either get really upset that people are sharing their gameplay videos and showing bosses you haven't seen and abilities in the new game, or you can go, I can't wait to see how that happens. And then it doesn't bother you. And it really legitimately doesn't bother me. I've been set free from that. And very thankful about it. But one thing that is fun is I've got some mutuals there on Threads that are showcasing their game. This is Victor over here. Victor says, I played approximately 20 minutes of Silksong and I've already wondered, is this the most gorgeous game ever created, or is that just the recency bias and hype taking over? And again, the lighting, the effects, the hand-drawn nature of the art in this game, it is timeless. It does look good, but it will look the same in 20 years. Whereas when you look back at 007 on the N64, it looks bad. It looked bad then. It looked bad then. It looks worse now. But Hollow Knight will look just as good in 20 years as it looks today. And Silksong is the same way. And it got me thinking, it's like, this game and its art style and its people's appreciation for it will outlive me. I said, the problem with the hand-drawn art style of these games is that it will be relevant long after you and I are dead. And therefore playing it makes us in awe of our own mortality. I don't know if that's entirely accurate, but it's interesting playing something where you're like, people will enjoy this game for a really long time. An exceptionally long. Probably after I'm gone. Didn't know we were going to face our own mortality today, did we, adult gamers? All right. Let's move on to Community Spotlight. There was so much. There's so much going on in Community Spotlight, especially I had to make a decision. Like, what am I going to actually share and talk about? And so I want to do this one. I put this video up as a clip from the show last week talking about Helldivers 2 Into the Unjust and how it was going to be tough to get the stratagems underground. And I just wanted to kind of share some of the comments that people had because some of them are really, really great. So many Helldivers came out to kind of share their experience. They said, hey, you got to change your loadout. Archaic Comic says, this is how the game was from the jump. People were having problems because they weren't changing their loadouts. When you go underground, you have to change the loadout. They said, you were going to go into every mission with the same loadout, but you can't do that. It depends on what mission you're doing. You have to change the loadout. You have to be strategic. And this new update is. So they really like it. Bearded Zaddy 2 says, I got reinforced on top of the cave. Like somebody needs to put me into the cave. Matt P says, I've started using exosuits a lot more in the cavern missions. Apparently you can fit them down in there, but they have smartly put mines all around. So you have to be very careful if you're going to bring the exosuit in there. You just got to be careful doing it. Solotron Tactical says, it's all about pre-planning for the correct mission. I might only bring one offensive strat in a cave mission while the rest of my slots are either filled with a supply pack, guard dog, or a mechanized unit. Totally. So this is loadout strategy on here for sure. Dat Boy King Nick says, it's not even that underground levels are that underground. There are some open spots in the tunnels and crossways. You can call in emergency supplies there. I also play as support, so I carry a supply backpack for my squad, and we use energy weapons. Yeah, you need the lasers and the energy weapons for sure. I was playing around with that Halo assault rifle last night, and you've got 8 magazines, and that's it. And they go fast. And so you're either constantly having to resupply, you need something that has regenerative ammo in it, which means you might have to save up and buy one of those war bonds that has some energy weapons in it if you don't have them already. Somebody asked, can you call in the mechs and maneuver, or are the caverns too tight? And someone's Carson, that was Slide Drexler. Carson said, they fit, but it's fairly narrow. Be careful of your teammates because I get crushed a lot by the mechs in the one-way tunnels. So look out for your teammates if you're calling in mechs. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I can't read all of these. Let me see. Nick Tacular said, they need to borrow technology from the dwarves of Deep Rock Galactic. Rock and Stone. They have ammo drop pods with a drilling base. So you can call them in from anywhere. So a lot of people were asking for that. They're like, can I just call in, and have it drop at the top of the tunnels and then drill into the bottom? A lot of people really wanted that. So thank you for everybody that jumped in to say hello or just contribute or talk to other Helldivers on the TikTok thread and elsewhere. A lot of people on YouTube, Instagram, they're all out there kind of responding to the videos, but I think I got the most feedback there on TikTok from it. So thank you. Also, thank you for my listeners in a new country. I want to thank a new country every week where I've got listeners out there on the audio only version of the podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Overcast FM. I get stats from YouTube as well, but I consider this like an audio first show. I try not to talk about, things that are happening on my screen, even though I do share some things on YouTube, on the video. I try to make the video good. I want it to be good, but I always want to think about you listening in your car or on your treadmill or somewhere else. Anyway, so for the audio only version of the show, 1.2% of my listeners are in the Philippines. Who knew? I'd never been to the Philippines. I hear it's very hot there. Actually, don't know. Thank you for listening wherever you are. I appreciate you. Please share the show, right? Rate it, share it, like it, subscribe, do all the things. But don't forget, there's free stuff on the Patreon, like the Gaming 411 newsletter and special episodes that you can only get there. So really appreciate you wherever you choose to listen, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or right off the patreon.com/The Andy B Show. So that's the show, everybody. I'm believing that it's going to be a great week for you. I'm so excited to have you listen and be a part of it. So let me know what you're playing. Are you playing Helldivers 2? Hollow Knight? Are you into this? You looking forward to Battlefield 6? I don't know. Are you playing something else entirely? Like, let me know what you're playing out there. I'd love to have a little bit of community spotlight next week, talking about what we're playing if we can. But thank you. Thanks for being part of the show. Thanks for listening. I can't wait to see you next week. What are we going to talk about next week? Like, I think we should figure it out, but I got to be honest with you. I'm hoping I'm coming with you with a story about how I've beaten Hollow Knight. I've upgraded this nail so many times. I've knocked it out, and I'm ready to go find, the new game. We'll see what happens. I really appreciate you. Can't wait to see you then. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.